This is Capnswab Donkey Kong, and after the repairs were made, and as you can see, it's actually hooked up to my Nintendo JAMA, Mike's Arcade, and it has to have the rainbow cable because I don't have it in my Donkey Kong, even though I did play it in that. This just for testing purposes. This board came to me not working, and the repair fixes were a couple of transistors, as you can see. See if I can get up in here. In this section is the sound section, and you had Q4 that was replaced, and also another one. I'll get to that one later. I can't remember the exact number right now, but this cap here, let's see where my finger is, this capacitor, that one there was not reading a high ESR level. Even though it was still reading okay, it was clipped and resoldered. Both of these actually. This one too, right next to the dip switch. And also this vertical pot had a lot of noise into it when you adjusted it. It ohmed out just under 10k ohms, so I replaced it with a new one. But the main culprit on this board, other than a couple of transistors, was the crystal here was starting to go bad. Even though this was still working, it was starting to go bad on the scope. As we flip the board over, we're looking at the back side. Every cap on here was good. This is the video board side. I'll flip the board over, as you can see. On this one, you have this chip. Oops. As I come in here, this chip that I'm looking at right here, this is the 101.16 chip that's socketed. This one and the 101.36 chip, which has the fin on it, if neither of these work, then these will power. These won't work. This board will not power up. Here is one of the main culprits on this video board. Under this heat shield, which I have removed at the moment, and also this capacitor was bad. But in this section here, this transistor here was shorted, and I had to replace this transistor, and finally got the game to boot, but it booted intermittently. So what that means is it would boot, and then I'd turn the machine off, power would come on again, and the game wouldn't boot. Pressing down all the chips didn't do anything, so I started going over everything again. I started checking all the resistors, every resistor checked out. Then I pulled on the CPU board, I pulled all the diodes and ran the diode check. Now the diode test, I pulled only on the diodes that wouldn't read, that were in like parallel series, that wouldn't read whether it was shorted or not. But then using my multimeter and grounding the multimeter to this crystal here, gave me the picture. Picture came up, and when the picture came up, that's when I knew this crystal was bad. So I replaced this crystal with a brand new one, and instant game, no problems. I've played this game several times, many times actually. I've gotten all the way up to like level 5, and it boots fine, comes on fine, everything seems to be working. The pots are adjusting, the graphics, all the EEPROMs verified okay, and then we will go power it on right now so you can see. But when I send it back to you, I will replace the heat shield. The heat shield will be put back onto the board when I do the final repair of of that. The repairs all been made except for the heat shield. I haven't replaced the heat shield back. So I'm going to turn the game on and then coin it up, and then you can see it playing. So I'm going to turn power to it on. As you can hear, I don't know if you heard the Donkey Kong power up, but that's the board. It's actually flipped upside down. But as we come up here, it's in my Double Dragon cabinet, by the way, you can see Donkey Kong. Excuse me, but I don't have this. I do not have the camera mounted on a tripod. It's actually in my hand. So, but there it is. After a successful boot again, like I said, now it boots no problem. You flip the board over, move the board, it still boots. Graphics plays. So what I'm going to do now is just reach down here and coin up the game so you see the game is playing. So bear with me 1 second. I'll try to do this with one hand. And as you see, one credit, just and come down. One player. And I'm going to play so you can see it actually working. And I will be doing this with one hand. Oops. Well, as you see, you can't really play with one hand too well, but all the work